there've been a lot of fires, a lot of fires in a lot of places, not only in Australia, in Greece, and all these things. And in some cases, that's man-made, not necessarily lightning strikes, which we normally have in Colorado. We have lightning strikes, in California, high country and dry. But
some of those caused some major devastation. But the ones that caused the most death were caused by the fires were started by humans in California. That's most of them.
It might be the case for Colorado because we've had two. We had the also Black Forest fire, which is North Colorado, and a clear blue day. I mean, we have our lightning storms in the summer, and if we have, but we also have, that's our monsoon season, so we usually have rain every day. But it was a clear blue day. There was no lightning. And anyway, both those fires between, and the Waldo Canyon fire, man, that winds, we have these katabatic winds come down Pikes Peak, and it was like a fire tsunami. People were running out of their homes within, minutes. Just 5, and just gathering whatever, of just heirlooms or anything they're most the things that are most precious, certainly people, pets, and then if there was anything that was whether it's within grandma's picture or whatever, or the one little safe or something that they had that was just of some worth, whether intrinsic to them or actual worth, but they didn't get much. And they got in their cars and they blasted off, and it raised. It looked like Dresden. It took these homes to the foundation, and very close to where I live too. But we were spared just the way the winds went. But I'll say that with that, we were talking about the response. Now we had, our people. Nothing else had happened prior, so we had the full response of, let's say, the Front Range fire side, but they were overwhelmed. They were overwhelmed too, and they were just backing up and just trying to make, lanes for people to get through and to evacuate. But then, and what did people do? Well, they went to, we had sort of the Red Cross and other things were setting up sort of, stations for people to, like refugees to come to these high schools that were a little farther back and stay in the gymnasium. They had cots out. They were on the ball. But then one of the strangest, is not strange now, it's common, that I would say go back to is like just when you think you've been hit enough, you lost your home, let's just say, is that some of these people that went to these, whether it was hotels or the high schools, that within the first night, and this happens around the world, and it's I'm giving an example in the U.S. to say, hey, this isn't only happens if it happens, it's a human nature thing. Opportunists.
Right. Every time.
When things get destabilized, right, the opportunists show up. And they showed up that night. And people, I guess the people, we get so much going on, you don't immediately think, hey, we got to also watch the parking lots. And the cars got broken into, a lot of them. And they took, the opportunists came and took things from these people. It was the last thing they had with them. And it's like, man, just to hit. And, the thing is, though, this has happened in plenty of other places. They had the earthquake in Nepal. A lot of human trafficking went through the roof right after. And so it goes back to, that being, if you're going to go out and do adventure travel and do things, travel around and as whether you're in retirement or you just get to do it as part of your job, you really need to take into account the, how quick the sort of snowball effect of this small thing hits another small thing. But it's a natural progression. And, it's an unfortunate thing, and it goes back to being as self-sufficient as you could be and being mobile. So the castle doctrine, the castle doctrine is just not going to work in those things because and so that's why I have focused both in my time, with the military. The only thing I could do, I couldn't fix all these external things. What could I fix? I can fix individuals. I can do what I can to give them knowledge. We talk about, we educate for the unknown, we train for the known. So, instead of going in and say, we're going to rub sticks together, we're going to do this or that. Well, let's talk about the whole big picture first. What do we really need to do? Let's understand it. And then we'll go back and start talking about what skill sets do I need?
Right.
Because some you might already have,
Sure.
And then after all of that, then we'll talk about, peppering you with a little bit of some components and kits or whatever to do that. Because some of this stuff you can do with nothing. And isn't it great that, I've got this, survival kit between my ears. It's the same cube. It weighs the same, whether I fill it with some of this knowledge or I fill it with Kardashian trivia, So, And I just think that, it's unfortunate that some of the things that earlier generations got access to, it's like if you were in the Boy Scouts, and I didn't. YMCA had the Indian guides, and they had these things that were teaching you, life skills.
Yeah.
They were life skills,
leadership skills,
right? It really all of that, exactly.
All of
that. And whether you ever used it, because you did outdoor tasks, hunting, fishing, whatever, or you really didn't, but they're life skills, there. Absolutely. And nature is a great classroom for that kind of stuff. And that's, again, back to why the SERE stuff just really spoke that side of it, And I also appreciate the psychological side of interactions between people, because I would say some of the younger generations are as connected as they are, as much as they communicate, the more through text and things like that. I will say they don't care for this as much, except with their friends. But I look at Carvana, this is just me, but I look at the Carvana kind of thing that blew up. So, it's novel, but when I thought about it, it's like, that's very popular. But in most cases, to get it out of this, looks like a big, this big building even that looks like almost like a
the cube with all the cars
machine,
right?
The big vending machine.
Well, that's exactly what it looks like,
and so because it's really what it is. But the reality is, they don't have to sit across a table to the used car salesman
and have a negotiation,
right? Because that's a challenge. They feel intimidated by that. It's a car salesman, not some.
Right.
Enemy.
It's not a dictator or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just,
it's not
it's not a some kidnap. It's interesting to me that if that's going to be a kind of a bit of a hitch in your step in life, if you don't, how are you going to ever, talk with other people to negotiate a raise or better, whatever. I don't understand, I do understand it, but it's in that, but we talk about being connected, but we would just say we don't do the analog stuff as much.